Okay, so we're going to go over the top meta cards under 100k. So we're not going to put any of the cheap cards in. So like, there's not going to be any like 5k cards. They're just going to be the best cards under 100k. We're just going to put Yokres in. So anyone that's like near 100k will just add like 15-20% on top, because obviously the market is going to be changing in price. But we'll start off with Yokres. I think he's a very good card. I think very underrated. I think this year with less dribbling, these taller players are much more viable. But with the Enforcer playstyle, well, apologies for the voice, literally came back literally like 5 to 6 o'clock in the morning, and I've been grinding since. But anyway, but Enforcer, he's such a good card. He's like one of the best cards for strength wise. He's got low driven, power shot, finesse shot, quick step. If only he was 4-star, 4-star. But if you don't use skill moves, I think he's literally one of the better cards you can get. Or the Hunter is very good. Vialli is not a card I want to put in. The reason I want to put him in is because I know people are having issues with chemistry and fight. Like everyone's got these mixed teams, these hybrids. But Vialli is actually a pretty decent card. If you're just looking for someone to give you those links, I think for 80k, he's actually not bad. 92 sprint speed, 86 finishing. You can put a Hunter on him, and he's 5'11". So I think with his strength, I think he's pretty much underrated. I think I've not actually seen him at all, but I think he definitely deserves a shout. Yes, he doesn't have the play styles that you want, but sometimes for 80k, you just need someone that can get the chemistry, and you just need someone to to get it going, get the team going. This could be one of those players. Then we're going to go with Donovan, another card I wanted to put in. Better than Vialli, in my opinion. But you can play Shadow Striker. I think people want to get the Joe Coles. Joe Coles like 300k. Not everyone can afford him. But players like Donovan, 100k, Shadow Striker plus, 4-star, 4-star, 5'8". And he's got all the stats that you want. So I think someone who can pass, someone who can dribble with the ball is Donovan. And I think he's a very underrated card. To be honest, I'm quite surprised only 102k. US as well, even better for the US. You've got the Swanson, the Morgans, you're going for the Smiths, those kind of links. But even better for the MLS. If you want to go ahead and play a Messi in your team, and let's say you need someone at right mid, he can probably get the job done. But I think he's a fantastic card. Alvarez comes in. I'm using him on my main account, my RTG account. I think he's a good card. I think when I bought him initially just when the game came out because his stats are very good, but I like him. Press Proven actually was a bit better this year. I would like to see more play styles. I mean, maybe a low driven, maybe some sort of tiki-taka. But I think for 70k, I think he still goes in at being one of the better ones, 5'7". I think on the ball, with press proven that play style, I think it just makes a bit of a bigger difference this year. You know, they quote unquote say keeps exceptional control of the ball while dribbling at jogging speed and can shield the ball much more effectively. Over Enforcer, I don't know. I've not tested that much the differences between them, but I still think it's a very good card. Claudina Pina, she's just been going up and up and up and up. People bought her at this kind of at this kind of price. She went back down again, and then she's gone back up. I mean, everyone's using her now. Her playstyle speak for itself. You're probably going to need a Hunter on her, but the argument is she potentially now like top 3 strikers and top 4? Well, okay. Let's exclude the R9s now. Let's exclude the icons. Who's probably better than her? Some pros are saying she's better than Mbappe. I don't think she's better than Dembele. But she's definitely up there. She's definitely. I think it's the tiki-taka playstyle, technical, finesse shot, low-driven playstyle plus, 5-star weak foot. She definitely is a very good card. That's what I would say. So if you're looking for a striker, I think she definitely goes in. Al Jaber, another decent card, 3-star, but he's got the finesse shot playstyle. His curve is not amazing. That's the only downside. You see, with players like this, you kind of want someone to have good curve because you can go for those long shots. And his long shots are not the best. So to be honest, a card like this, I wouldn't really say it's someone to use outside the box. But if you're just looking, again, someone like a Vialli, a cheap striker that can just get you chemistry, or if you're running the Saudi League, and you can't afford any other icons in the Saudi League because there's other heroes in the Saudi League because there's so many good ones. Alawired, who's really going to be affording that? Probably no one. But like if you are running those, Algebit is actually a good option. The only thing is you only can play striker. Then we have Dumane. Oh man, I think this is another underrated card. I think this might be like, you know what? You said Claudina Pina. I think this might be potentially top 25 strikers in the game. I'm not even joking. Like let's exclude like the icons. Like I generally think like stats wise, she's got everything that you'd want. 4-star, 4-star, and she's got incisive as well. I think for a cam, she's probably one of the better cams inside the game. I really like her. If only she had a better playstyle plus, she would be insane. But I think she's undervalued for what performance output she gives. Then we're going to go with Rodman. We're going just a bit to a low end now. We've got Rodman. I think Rodman 19k only. I think she's still very good. Probably need to put a finisher. Anyone that's got low finishing, probably got to put a finisher on her. And then we got Marmouche. I think, look, for 17k, I just think he's a joke. The fact he's 17k is unbelievable. Premier League. Yeah, don't get me wrong. That 3-star weak foot ain't looking good. But I think for the rest of the stats, I think he's a very, very, very good card. Good passing as well. Can play on a wing as well, but can play that cam role. Don't forget, there isn't that many cams in the game. So I want to put him in just because I think for his price, he's just unbeatable. I think for the stats that you're getting for his price, like if you had to equate price for stats, he would be like on the higher echelon. Like he's so undervalued in my opinion compared to what stats he has. Yes, the playstyles could be better, but technical playstyle, I think it's still very good. Okay, now we go to the crossover to wingers. Diani, of course, she still goes in there being one of the better strikers inside the game. She is still exceptionally good. Like if you're talking about strikers inside the game, I think her with alongside Dumanea, like the two cheap combos, and get like Chawinga and left mid. Those are like the two cheap combos that are very affordable. She's 125, so like does she kind of fit into that category? That's like a different situation altogether. But I still think she's a fantastic card. I think she has everything that you want for a striker. 4-star, 4-star. The only thing that lets her down is that shot power. But I feel like because of her stats being so high, you can kind of give her the benefit of the doubt. But I think you've got to put her in. I think she's up there. But she can play right mid as well. So if you're looking for someone that can play right mid, she's got everything you want. Good physicality. Again, another very underrated card. But I think her price is at a good level. It's not too cheap. But I think Dumaney and her are good combos together. For wingers, I want to put Freddie Ljungberg in. Again, 130, probably on a higher end of 100k. But I think with a rapid playstyle, incisive, long ball, I think he's a very good card. The only downside is no inside forward. I would like to see an inside forward. But again, I think if you're going with the Premier League and you haven't got the links, I think his passing is good, stamina is good. I think he's an underrated card. His finishing could be much better. But I think with a Hunter 4-star, 4-star explosive with a rapid playstyle, I think someone that runs down the wing and that can do a bit of everything, I think he's a really good card. Donovan goes in. We've gone over him already. Kvaratskhelia. I'm using my main account. I got him with the links with Pacho. I think he's amazing. 5-star, 5-star. Look, it would be even better if you could play that cam role. It would be even better. But he doesn't have that cam role. But incisive, technical, finesse. I really like him. You can still score Trivelas, technically speaking. You know, Trivela playstyle. But I think his finishing is not that good. That's the only downside. If he was a cam, it would be a different. But because he's 5-star, 5-star, if you like to use skills, I think he's a good card. He's got 87 short passing as well, 86 curve, good physicality. Shooting is dreadful, but I think for winger, I think he's very good in terms of pace. But his shooting, I'd want to see it much higher. But I think because of the fact he's 5-star, 5-star, I feel like I really got to add him in because there isn't that many players inside the game that have 5-star, 5-star. Like, you know, if there was like loads of players, I would go ahead and be like, yeah, but not everyone can afford a Dembele. No one ever called Alexia. Like, okay, Debinha's there, but that's it. So, like, there's not really that many options inside the game. So that's why I really got to put him in. I mean, like, there's Rutter card, by the way. Yeah, they're really nice Evo. You want to consider him anyway. Liao goes in. I think, you know, again, incisive. I think you can probably get away with it. You'd probably use a Hawk, but I'd probably use a finisher here. Gets agility, balance, and shooting up. Another very good card. Rodrigo, I think we're going to put him in. I think he's a very good card again. He kind of lacks that shooting. They kind of nerfed him a bit this year. He isn't as powerful as he was last year. But I still think he's a very good card nonetheless. Stamina could be not the best, I'll be honest. But I think for 50k, I think he's still one of the better cards. I'm trying to buy someone. And then we go to one of my favorite left mids in the game. So she can play left wing, left mid, right wing. She can also play striker. If you need to get a link to Claudina Pina and you don't want to sacrifice chemistry, I think Salma is a really good card. I think she was a bit cheaper, wasn't she? She was a bit cheaper than she went up. I think she's a very good card. 4-star, 4-star, good sprint speed, very good finishing, good shot power. You can put a finisher on her and she can play striker exceptionally well. People say, oh, her composure's low. It's true. I would like her composure to be higher, but 80k, look, it's not like we're critiquing Dembele here. Her balance is not too much of an issue because she's 5'9". Normally, when you're quite short, you can get away with like having like low balance. Ideally, you want at least 80, but she will still feel smooth on the ball. But I think she's a very good card, inside forward plus as well. Llorente, I wouldn't use as a winger. I would use him as a centre mid or a right back. But I've got to put him in as a right mid if you just want a pure pace abuser, because to be honest, that's what I was doing at one time. I just subbed him on, put him on right mid. I still think for 50k, he's actually quite a good card. But I think he's one of the better right backs in the game. I think, you can put Sentinel on him, or if you're me, go with like a Shadow and Anchor. And yeah, he's a very good card. I think he's not the most smoothest on the ball, but if you're looking for someone that's a bit dynamic that you can move to centre mid, or someone that can play, I would say he's a better right back and a centre mid. Those are his key positions, but he's still got the pace you'd want for a winger. We got Rayton, put her in. She'll play cam as well, rapid. It's good sprint speed. I use her on my RTG, very good card. Inside forward as well for the left mid. And Bremo, now this guy is a disaster and weak foot, but you know what? There's so many Premier League teams, and I feel like if you're looking for a really cheap card, because in the right, like I want to give you an example. The issue is in the Premier League, and there's a reason why some of these cards are here. You'd be like, what the hell? Why are these cards here? It's because the reason why is in some of these leagues, like the Premier League, there isn't that much options. Okay, Saka is not good. Okay, I love Saka in real life. They're an absolute disservice for me. He's too slow. You put a hunter on him, and he hasn't got he's got a finesse shot, but he's not got exactly what I'd want. So there isn't really that much options. Yeah, you got Park Ji-sung, but again, Park Ji-sung is more of a centre mid. Good defense awareness. He can play cam. I think he's a decent cam. I'll come on to that in a second. But if he could play centre mid, he'll be there. I mean, like, would I want to use him on a wing? I'd want someone a bit faster. Yeah, he's still a good card. I'm not saying he's a bad card, but I feel like there's a lack of options. There's only the expensive ones. There really isn't anyone that's quite affordable. We've got the Salahs, but that's what I'm trying to say. He's one of those cards that's just like cheap and cheerful. Don't play him in striker. Just play him as a right mid. 2-star weak foot. Just don't ever shoot on his left foot. That's the only downside. He's not going to be able to cut in. But if you need someone just to get the ball out on the wing and run, he can do it. Swanza comes in. She can shoot as well. I've gone over before. Rashford still comes in as being one of the better left wings. I mean, look, until you can afford the Rafinhas and the Williams, that's what all the pros are using. I think Rashford, look, just slap a hunter on him for now. 5-star skill moves. And I think he's a good card. If you're going to play him up front, probably put a finisher on him. And then we go to the final two. Chewinga gets links with Diani. And then we go with Chiesa, just a super cheap option. I feel like he's very underrated. But if you don't want to use Bremo, you can go ahead and use Chiesa. So we continue on to CDMs. Apologies, I just removed the camera. I'll be honest. The last thing I wanted with like a few hours sleep was a bright light just flash banging me so bright. But anyway, Patrick Guijarro, one of the best CDMs I've used this year. I really like. I think she's got the bots crasher plus, quite rare. In my opinion, I think there's not that many CDMs in the game. I think she's very, very good. As in, her defending is excellent. Her shooting is good. Everything she has, passing, everything you'd want. She's a perfect box-to-box in the mid or a CDM. Then we have O'Sullivan, a new card. One that recently disappeared. But if you're looking for the links and NWSL and maybe you want the Rodman and so on, I think for 45k, it's a steal. 86 sprints, but you kind of reminds you of the old Crystal Dunn, but she's a very good card as well. The Blitz is a good card for Liga F. I thought I'd put her in just in case you want to look for those links. And you want to send a mid for like Claudina Pina. Stanway is very good. Unfortunately, isn't that many CDMs. Lema comes in with a new card, 84 sprint speed, 88 defense awareness. I think for Bundesliga DM, I think Leah Emre Chan, but I think he's worth an honorable mention. Camavinga still goes in with being one of the better CDMs. And then Guerrero, in my opinion, one of my favorite ones. As I mentioned, she's no longer in Arcama League. She is now in WSL, perfect for the Mario and the Lynx. I think we kind of got to throw in Mariona, but yeah, technically she's not the best of CDMs, but I think for 50k we got to throw her in. And then Tonali comes on the cheap. Now, centre mids I'm going to touch on. There's a few cards like I think Reinders and De Jong are like the two best combinations you can get. I know he's 135, probably pushing a bit too high, and De Jong's completely out of the question. But I think he's one of the better centre mids in the game. Can play DM as well. Turang, again, a bit expensive, but a very good card nonetheless. Same with Bellingham. I think he can probably play centre mid. Probably not worth as a CDM, even though he can't play there. I wish he always could. But you probably want to throw a Hunter on him. But I still think he's a good card. You don't see that much of him. He's just a bit clunky as that cam. If he had better pace, it would be a different situation. Williams, I wanted to throw in as another card that could play centre mid. I'm going to be honest. If you just want purely that cam boost and you want attacking centre mid, I think she does a good job as a good overall. Goretzka comes in for Bundesliga. I still think he's worth it. He's a new card, only recently last week, but I still think he's a good card. I think he's not really a DM. He's more of a centre mid, but I think for a long time he won't be there. But right now he's still a very good universal card. Chawi has to go in. Talisso, another very good card. Bit of everything, kind of everything that you'd want, to be honest. League One as well, French, got the shot power on, long shots. I'll be honest, I think he's a very underrated card. I think 55k is a good amount of money. And then we have Little, not really the best of cam styles, but if a centre mid that's attacking, got 88 shot power, I think it's another very good card. You can just throw a Hunter on, or if you want to even put a Shadow on, she's got good defensive awareness as well. Strength is lacking, but she's got the Box Crasher plus as well. So that's another very good card for WSL. We're now going to go with fullbacks. We're just going to avoid some of the really cheap ones here. So we got Liguli, I think she's a good card. Bombasta, I think she's another very good card for chemistry. Di Lorenzo, I think a very good centre back. Arguably one of the better centre backs in the game, but can play right back as well. Alex Scott, another good card jockey, playstyle with a Shadow. Lorente, one of the best in the game. Unfortunately, Hakimi and Nuno Mendes are just too expensive to even include in this list. Karchawi's there. Frimpong gets in as well. Probably going to put a Sentinel on him. Hernandez is still a very good card, very good overall. I wish if this guy was centre mid, it'd be different caliber. Hincapi, one of the best defensive left backs. And then we finish with Boulder. You can also even get Mendy in. I think Mendy's been slightly nerfed, but these would be some of the better cards for under 100k that I would pick. Okay, now we're going to go over centre backs. Hincapi, obviously don't buy this version, buy this one over here. We're going to show you this one again, but just saying, everyone keeps saying, oh, Hincapi is expensive, but obviously look at the right version, guys. Kunde, if not, in my opinion, one of the best centre backs inside the game. In my opinion, right now, if you're strong with defending, he's probably the best centre back for you. Or maybe only Thuram, but I think under 100k he's the best centre back without question of a doubt. Without shadow of a doubt, should I say Saliba, very good. Lacks the sprint speed, but jockey playstyle saves him. Di Lorenzo, I really like him. You can go ahead and put a shadow on him, or if you really want to, you can go ahead and put a sentinel. Doesn't have a jockey playstyle, but can play centre back very well. Pacho, one of the better ones, got on my main account, very, very good. Van de Ven, another one, the best centre backs. I think him and Kunde under 100k are the two best combos you can get. Pavard, jockey playstyle plus, lacks the sprint speed, but a good card nonetheless. If you can't afford, then maybe you need a League One or French Link. Ede Militao, okay, but I still gotta throw him in here. Rudiger, much better sprint speed. Marquinhos at 80 sprint speed. Virgil van Dijk's a bit obvious, but yeah, you can have Virgil van Dijk as well. Bremer, I think, is the real price performance beast here. And then you have Hincapi again, one of my favourite cards of Premier League. Lacroix with a Sentinel. And then we finish off with Mr. Banez, another very good card. Now, goalkeepers, a bit of a weird spot, but I would say Courtois. Dudek is a very good card for rush out and you need chemistry and you need a Premier League links. I think he's actually a decent card. He could be taller, 6'2" only. Allison definitely goes up. There's got rush out as well. Donnarumma goes in, a bit expensive. Howard, I've just put in anyway, 6'3". I mean, I think he's okay. But I think if you need the chemistry, again, another good card. I prefer Dudek instead. David Raya, another very good card. But wish he had better playstyles. I'd probably say David Raya will be the one that I prefer much less. Then Mamadashvili, terrible performance yesterday against Chelsea. I'm joking. No, I was really good shot by Caicedo. But I think he's a very good goalkeeper for like 10k if you're looking for those cheap cards. Then we have Oblak, another very good card. And then we have Pickford. If you want my honourable mention, I really like Ter Stegen. Ter Stegen is another good cheap beast as well. But that is the best cheap cards inside FC26, all under 100k. Is it cheap? Well, for someone that's a millionaire, maybe it's cheap. For maybe us mere mortals, 50k is a lot, but these are cards on the 100k that are best in the game right now.